Good morning and welcome to the Rise and Grind Mastermind call. This call was started on September 8th, 2016. My name is Timeka Williams. We also have Randolph Mapp Jr. and Shana Isaac on the call, and this is a mastermind group. We do this call live at 9 a.m., and this call is published on SoundCloud, YouTube, Podomatic, iTunes, etc. If you're wondering, if you're a first time listening to this call, you're wondering what a mastermind group is, the mastermind group concept was formulated by Napoleon Hill in his book Think and Grow Rich, which was published in 1937. And on this call, we talk about principles to make us more successful, because it's basically what a mastermind group is, a group of like-minded individuals who come together, share ideas so they can grow wealth. Not necessarily wealth together, but individual strains of wealth or wealth together by sharing like-minded ideas, knowledge that one must know or must use in their life or business to be successful. So, we talk about law of attraction. The motto of this call is start your day with a vision. And today's title of the call is the peace that surpasses all understanding. In life, most people who go through traumatic experiences, whether it's some great loss of possessions, damage to your reputation, you have some kind of physical hardship, you lose, the ability of one of your limbs, great disaster, let's say a fire, a flood, just great loss, and it comes to a point in your life where you just don't understand what's going on. Why is this happening to me? This wasn't the course that I had set in my head, so why is this happening in my life? Usually when this happens, of course we go through as human beings a lot of emotions like hurt, pain, anger, resentment, frustration. But then living your life today, right now, just think about how you are in the present as you're listening to this call or on this call live. You think about it's over with. It has happened. It is done. We have to understand that before we got to this present and we were going through these situations, yes, we were in a mode of all kind of anger, resentment, frustration, sadness, but we eventually had some kind of peace. There was some kind of peace that came, which allowed us to, the situation still happened. Nothing stopped the situation from happening. It happened. Life happened. But we have to realize that God is in control. He is in control. We want what we want for our lives. We have a map that we would like to happen. We have our vision that we want to happen in our lives, which is good because God says, write the vision, have a vision, let your requests be known to me. But at the same time, there are things that happen in this world, disasters, war. And the Bible tells us these things are going to happen. It's going to get worse before it gets better. The end of the day is, it tells us that these things are going to happen. But 9 times out of 10, we're never ready. We're never ready for it to happen in our lives. But the same way we got over traumatic, disastrous experiences in our life, it's very important to be grateful and operate with a mode of gratitude, because even when you're going through the storm, you have to realize the storm is not forever. And we're going to be out of this situation just like we were out of tons of other situations that have happened in our life, and we're going to be back at peace. When I talk about this title, it makes me think, there's experiences that I'm going through right now, and there have been, traumatic experiences that people know of and some that people don't know of that I've went through in my past, but I have to reflect on those because it was far beyond my understanding. So what I'm going through now is far beyond my understanding. And sometimes you have to realize you can't do everything in every situation. You can't handle everything in every situation. You're not in control of every situation. So we have to operate with the mode of peace. It's just like when we say our affirmations and we have goals and visions for our life. We need to always leave room for that or better or both. Because we still have to realize we are limited in our thinking. Yes, our brain thinks in images, but it's images that we've seen before, or images that we want to match together, and we take images that have happened in other people's lives or things that we've seen in TV or things that we've read about with our imagination, and we may match and put the pieces of the puzzle and want these things for our life, but still we always need to leave room that God knows has the bigger plan. That's why when we say I am, you know, the kingdom of God is within you. So you have to, you know, kingdom of heaven is within you. So you have to operate from I am, from a perspective where you carry your vision with you because you believe that God is with you at all times. But always put yourself at peace. When you're in the middle of the storm, it's harder, you know, it's easier said than done, but give yourself that peace experience. Not everybody who experiences all these disastrous, you know, occurrences are going to snap and realize, okay, all this turmoil is going on around me or is happening to me. Let me just put myself at peace. You won't have that moment immediately, but you'll realize soon after there's a moment of awakening where you're able to look at life and realize how precious life is. You look at your possessions and realize, wow, how precious God has blessed me with these possessions. You look at, you know, your children and you realize, wow, I'm worthy. You know, I'm worthy enough to be in charge and be blessed enough to have children. That's being at peace when we're able to see everything and understand that we don't understand everything. But you know you're leading in the right direction when you can actually have that quiet time, have that meditation time, have that prayer time on a consistent daily basis because you purposely give yourself that peace time, and God is giving you that peace that you need. Is there anyone else out here on the call, Shana or Randolph, that wants to talk about peace that surpasses all understanding?
Yes, good morning. This is Randolph Mapp. Thank you for everyone for listening to the call, choosing to start your day with vision. Thank you, Timeka, for that lead. Peace that surpasses all understanding. Yeah, that is, you know, a common, a Bible phrase that, you know, people hear. But what does that look like, you know, in a practical sense? As Timeka illustrated, it's quite complicated from my perspective, from my experience. It's taken years, and I still haven't, you know, developed the concept of tap dancing in the rain and singing like, oh yeah, it's all good. No, when I'm going through, you know, whatever storm, I do reflect back to, you know, moments in life when things were absolutely horrible. But still, the issue that is at hand is nevertheless an issue at hand. So a lot of times, you know, I have to psych myself out, you know, and, you know, a lot of times, you know, I hear people say, you know, living life on life's terms, or perhaps I'm living life on my higher power's terms. Maybe this is just, you know, it's not out the realm of possibility that, you know, this isn't a haphazard event, that this is designed for me to learn something or designed from somebody else to learn something through what I'm going through or what someone else is going through. A prime example of that would be just very recently, I have a complicated relationship between my child's mother and myself and our child. And, you know, I wanted to have her for the holidays. And, you know, I began to, you know, use as much energy that I could, you know, reaching out to this person and talking to that person and getting absolutely irate and, you know, then coming back down and thinking it was going to be okay. And, you know, I had to take a chill pill, you know, and put myself in timeout and, you know, take some breaths. And I had to realize, you know what? I'm not in control of this situation. I'm simply not in control of this situation. Surrendering was a lot of times, you know, you hear the word surrender, you think automatic weakness, oh, you gave up. No, sometimes you can surrender to win, you know, and in this case, you know, that's what I did. I just, you know, I surrendered. I said, hey, you know, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, well, this isn't the last time, hopefully, you know. And the way things panned out, you know, I got my daughter not only for Christmas, you know, for New Year's as well. You know, I mean, I had her longer than I even anticipated. So, you know, that peace, you know, that surpasses all understanding actually came, you know, while I was going to get my daughter, you know, or actually when I actually, you know, me and her mom talked out and said, you know, okay, everything's all good. And I really, you know, I couldn't believe I was hearing what I was hearing. But, then I do remember, I practiced some things that, we've talked about today in this call, and, that line just stuck in my head, not living life on life's terms, but living life on God's terms. He's in control of this thing in certain situations. Now, certain situations I do play a role in, and I can do something to actually hit the button to stop the rain. A lot of times, in my past, I placed myself in situations to where, that were completely under my control, but I wanted to stay miserable. I did not want to, call for help or seek out, some form of, guidance. And so I continued to, get drenched, really flooded for a choice of better words. But as far as developing that peace that surpasses all understanding, and now I still don't understand it. I just choose to believe, in my God that, he just did what I couldn't do, because it was completely out of my hands. I turned it over to his hands, but I asked for help. Then once I asked for help, I followed the directions. It's almost like, you see a cake on a box, and they have the ingredients on the back, everything you need to have this wonderful cake. And if you don't follow the instructions to the T, if you put in too much flour, or you use not enough eggs, or if you put too much sugar in, you're not going to get that right recipe. So in order to develop that peace, a lot of times, it isn't something that for me, or probably for most people listening, that comes naturally, that you have to actually ask somebody about, that's maybe been in a situation similar to yours or worse than yours, or, just somebody that has some wisdom in that area. Then once they give you that information, on a practical sense, it's your responsibility to implement that, to put it into action. It's not going to just happen, by itself, but it will happen once you put the work in. So, that's just my piece on, obtaining a peace that surpasses all understanding. I'll turn it back over to Timeka or Shana, whomever would like to speak on the topic.
All right.
Hello. Okay.
I guess Shana's taking a pause. One thing I wanted to talk about as far as when I think about this topic, peace that surpasses all understanding, it makes me think about the topic since you brought up, something that had to do with parenting. As far as I used to think it was easy being a single parent because my son was the most obedient child ever. I would teach him something, everything he would learn at a young age was so easy. I mean, he would listen, he acted just like me, he was so mannerable and things of that nature. And one thing that I knew growing up was I always went against the grain, and I thought I was sneaky. And so it was kind of frustrating that when he hit his teenage years that he started to develop his own mindset and go against the grain just like I did. And I would get frustrated, and at times I still do get frustrated. But when I think about times where I just sit and I meditate and I pray over him, I get the most peace when I realize that my son is actually thinking on his own at a young age and challenging things that I say, ask questions about things that I do, because it's very important that we're able to have our own mindset. A lot of us don't find ourselves truly until we get in our 30s. We're very obedient. We go through the process. We listen to everybody. We follow the rules of society and things of that nature. But really, when I think of it from that standpoint, I'm at peace with that because he's not a very disobedient child, but I'm at peace that he's finding himself. There's really, if he want to do everything that I tell him to do and do what I want him to do for a living and just be a total mama's boy, in the end, I would be somewhat disappointed. Because he's only doing things that I'm telling him to do. He's living his life the way I'm telling him to live his life and not having his own mind. So I realized that not only do I have a plan for his life, you know, because he's my greatest blessing, but God has a plan for his life. And no matter what, I realize that as a parent, I can sow the seeds, which I do on a consistent basis, the way in which I want him to go. But he has his own plan, and God has his own plan for his life. And that's, you know, a situation that puts me at peace, where I don't have all the pieces to the puzzle. I don't know everything, but I'm at peace to know that he's going to be just fine, you know, in this world. So is there anyone else out there who wants to talk about the topic?
Yeah. One last thing I'd like to say about it, as far as developing this peace beyond your understanding. On another personal note, you know, I know when I was beginning this process of becoming sober, you know, I was always on edge because of my track record and my past, and you know, I could gather, you know, maybe 90 days, even 6 months sometimes. 6 months was a complete miracle from God. I thought, man, that was just, you know, it was great, you know, but I was always on edge, you know, like, oh, man, like, I'm not going to be able to do this, or I'm not going to be able to, you know, go to, you know, go to this party, or go to this event, or do this or do that, or I'm not going to be able to go on this side of town because I used to hang out on that side of town with the wrong crowd, and, you know, all this jazz, man, you know, that just really had me going. But then, you know, when I totally surrendered, you know, that part of my life, you know, up, you know, when I truly, you know, said enough was enough. I mean, I think I probably had maybe 2 to 3 months sober, and I went on my first cruise, right? And, you know, on cruises, everything is, you know, drink what you want, you know, get off dock, party in the Bahamas, blah, blah, blah. And the wonderful thing about actually, you know, surrendering to the process, having a working relationship with the God of my understanding, and checking the motives behind my motivation of why I really wanted to go there, you know, man, I went there and I had a blast. And that was really one of the first times, because we're in the Bahamas. They you know, they're smoking reefer, you know, doing the deal as soon as we get off the boat. And all I'm thinking about is like, man, I'm having fun drinking my virgin daiquiri, you know, taking pictures, looking at history, really enjoying my life. That was a almost like a spiritual awakening type of moment for me in my life, when I said, hey, you know what? I can do whatever I want to do, go wherever I want to go, as long as the motives behind my motivation are pure. You know, as long as I'm, you know, I'm spiritually fit, you know, and I'm going there, you know, to enjoy this beautiful experience that we have the opportunity called life to enjoy. And, you know, that was a piece that really just, like, made this whole, you know, new way of long-term recovery just, like, awesome to me, that I could do anything. And now, even today, I can go anywhere, be around anybody, do anything, and I have peace that, oh, I'm not going to drop the ball and slip up and have a drink, or slip up and smoke some weed or something of that nature, because I'm spiritually fit in that area of my life, you know, and I'm you know, I just wanted to share that experience, because, man, I mean, early on, I was on, like, walking on eggshells, like, I can't go here, I can't do this, I can't do that. But then, you know, just that peace came along, like, I'm with you. You're good. Enjoy yourself. You know, just like I'm talking right now, just talking like that. When I talk to my higher power, I don't really have too many burning bush experiences, or, you know, the Red Sea. But nevertheless, it is a burning bush experience. It is my Red Sea, because I know the voice when it's speaking to me. But, yeah, that's what I like to share as far as, you know, developing that peace that surpasses all understanding. This happened.
All right. Is there anyone else out there on the call live who want to say anything? Okay, well, we'll go ahead and wrap up the call. I want to go ahead.
No, I was just saying it's a great topic to really it's a great topic today. Just something great for I know for myself to just really get to that point and meditate on. I know typically, that's really the theme of my whole year is to, get organized and get things in its proper place just so I can have that peace and that peace of knowing that everything will be accomplished and taken care of. I know that a lot of times when I sit back and look about this, when we think about the things we stress about every day, even when it has to do with bills and things like that, it's like we stress over things over and over and over again. And then at the end of it, God always takes care of it. And, when you think about situations you've had in your life, that's happened over and over and over again. And it's just to the point where, at some point we have to realize, okay, we need to just know it's going to be taken care of it. Why stress over it in the beginning? Just have peace about it and just have such a great peace that in the struggle, in those moments, we can enjoy the process and even enjoy, just the moments and the blessing that we're given while we're going through that journey. So that's something that I know that I have to keep reminding myself and try to tell myself that so I can have this kind of peace in life to where I'm not always just nervous or stressed and things like that. So I just wanted to add that part to the call as well. I'll pass it back to the crew so we can close it out.
Okay. Well, I want to thank y'all for joining this call today, listening to this call live or whatever format that you're listening to this call. Make sure you start the day by giving yourself a vision. Write down your vision. Know what it is that you want to accomplish today, how you want your life to go today. Know everything. Visualize how you want your day to go today in detail. After you visualize how you want your day to go, leave room for God to do his will for your life and that or better. You want this to happen or better, because we have to keep realizing that be at peace no matter what is going to happen today. Whatever happens, you're ready. You're already ready. Everything is already taken care of. No need to stress over this because it's taken care of. If this happens and you're unaware that this is going to happen, then you're going to learn something from it happening. So make sure that you say your affirmations. Make sure you use your affirmations and start your affirmations with I am. I am the lender and not the borrower. I am the head and not the tail. Realize that I am because God is within you. He's always with you, never goes on lunch break, never goes on vacation. You can go to him anytime. So when you say your affirmations, believe your affirmations and visualize your affirmations just like you have your vision board and you wrote your vision for today. So thank you for joining this call, and I want to tell y'all to have a nice day.